I do always feel bad though in movies whenever somebody like, oh, you traveled from feudal Japan? Here, try a Pop-Tart. And they're like,
Oh my
this
God.
is amazing! And then they go back to their shitty like plain rice and the plague. Like it's the worst.
Have you heard the meme that like one Dorito has more flavor in it than like a medieval peasant would experience during the course of their entire life or something?
I believe that completely.
And we just eat handfuls of those every day. Yeah, no, and like so many movies, the plot is like, we just want to go home. We don't want to be here anymore. I'm like, no, you don't. Don't go home. Oh my God, it's much better here.
All right, guys, here we are to talk about the movie Congo. 1995's Congo. I know you've seen this one.
Amy, good gorilla. It's the movie. No, I'm super nostalgic for this.
Most
this
definitely.
is like a movie, and like I was shocked to see how poorly rated it is on like Rotten Tomatoes and everywhere.
Yeah.
Because like when I'm saying Amy, good gorilla, like kids in my school made fun of a girl named Amy, like at the time. Like this was not something that just like no one noticed when it when it like came through. So
This was big, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like shocked that.
I remember this hit like HBO, and it played back to back to back. Like back when HBO was not like, we have fun shows that go and this does and whatever. Like there were shows in the morning and stuff, but it would be like a movie 7 times in a row. And I remember watching this movie like 50 times.
And you were there to watch it all 7 times. No, yeah, like HBO used to be the home box office.
Yeah.
And they used to pattern it like we're having the 7 o'clock showing, the 9 o'clock showing, and like do that. Yeah, exactly. So no, this is old. We're old. It's been a long time, but
super fun movie about a gorilla learns sign language, and they want to take it back to where it came from because they think that's what the gorilla wants. I think that's very selfish, but we'll find out what happens.
Hey, gorillas want what they want, and who are we to stop them? It's fine.
Piggybacking alongside this thing, we have another group who's trying to get some diamonds and shit, and try to see if Bruce Campbell is dead or not.
Exactly. No, like Bruce Campbell, Laura Linney, Ernie Hudson, Joey Pants. Like it's got a ton of people in it that we'll get more into.
Let's not leave out our favorite, Tim Curry.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Who's with the worst Romanian accent I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's amazing. No, this is and I was, I guess, enough of like a nerd or like a film guy to be like excited to see Tim Curry, right? I'm like,
I love Tim Curry. He's one of my favorites.
Normal people, I don't think are ever excited to see Tim Curry, but I'm like,
I think
it's the guy from Legend and the guy from this, the guy from that. Oh, I'm so
Clue.
happy. Yeah, I'm like, oh, amazing! I can't believe all these people are in there. And now looking back, I'm like, I was a huge nerd. Delroy Lindo. Oh my God. I'm like, what was happening? Yeah. Anyway, we like this, I feel like.
Oh yeah, this one is a treat. If you haven't seen this, definitely go check it out and then come back for the spoilers. If you've already seen it, follow us over to spoilers, and we'll let you know exactly what we think about it.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of Congo. So I definitely have a lot of love in my heart for Congo.
Yeah.
Like Congo was something that like as a kid watched a whole bunch. I had the toys.
They were toys?
They weren't good toys, but they were toys.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I was the right age or if I would even care about toys. I was a weird child. No, this movie's one of those, like, I don't know if it fits in with its time or something, right? I'm definitely nostalgic for it, and that's clouding my view. I think it's kind of long and maybe slow or something like that. But that's kind of how movies were.
Yeah.
And, like, there's, like, very few scraps of, like, action or, like, lore or, like, interesting stuff. But as a kid, like, that was, like, enough to harvest, and I wanted that. Yeah.
It has enough, like, Indiana Jonesy stuff in this that as a kid I would have been like, oh, they're in Africa? This is awesome. Oh, what are they doing? Is that a laser gun? Holy shit. Are those evil gorillas? I'm down. Wait, is that gorilla talking? Holy shit.
Amy, good gorilla.
No, and it's like I'm saying that maybe is too long, but the pacing is really good.
Yeah.
Something happens every however many 8 minutes, whatever it's gonna be.
Even though like most of the movie is the journey,
Yeah.
it doesn't really hurt it that much. But I think the thing that hurts this is just my adult brain going, that doesn't make sense. Why'd they do this? What the fuck? I think the biggest of that issue is just like, okay, so multiple planes get shot down, just crossing this airspace here. You're going to escape in a balloon. And maybe you have a little bit better of a chance because heat-seeking missiles might have trouble hitting a balloon. But it's full of hot air.
The war is over. They're good.
The war is not over.
The war continues to this day.
Yeah, it does. But you got fun characters in there. Like Ernie Hudson, I love him in almost everything he's done.
He's electric. I feel like at the time even I would have been like, whoa, he's much like I thought he was good in whatever, but he's better. Like, he's great.
Thank you. Now run away. Oh, come on, man, run away. Get in the back.
Oh yeah.
His like delivery, his like witty lines.
I love his haircut.
Go to the haircut.
This is like a cool guy. Like.
And what are you doing with that gorilla?
Taking her home.
He is a cool guy, yes.
His voice is like so smooth too.
You're going to try and take her back to the farm now that she's seen Perry.
And Tim Curry, all fantastic. He's doing a crazy accent. I love him. I love the things. I love his facial expressions. Stop eating my sesame seed cake. And he's like,
it's like take it out. Yeah, yeah, it's wonderful.
So good.
Yeah, and like he fits into this role where he's the guy who's like hopelessly searching for the lost city. But it's not like this romantic idea. I'm searching for the lost city. Everyone's like, oh, this crazy fuck over here wants to find the lost city, and he is and trying to like justify his crazy
broke,
thing.
He
it's
needs
great.
it.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Mr. Homolka here was part of a disastrous expedition about, what, 5 years ago?
Please, I would prefer you not to.
They were looking for a city called Zinj.
I think it's crazy, this telecommunication company that I'm like, what are you even doing? Like, what are these lasers doing? This laser that seemingly doesn't need to be powered by like anything. It just it can shoot to the space.
It's powered by diamonds, Stefan.
I think the diamond is what focuses the beam.
Know. Yes.
And these little tiny capacitors and batteries are what power it. But it like hacks apart. It cuts a tree down. It rips through these fucking gorillas.
Yeah.
It's very cool. When she like ET phone homes and kills the satellite though, you're like, oh shit, okay.
No,
what?
She's a boss in this, and that's great because she like sticks it to that horrible dude who's
He
like,
knew what was
"Give me
going
that diamond!" And she's like, if you I told you that if you were sending me for stupid like wealth stuff instead of personal stuff, that I was gonna do something bad. And beep boop bop boop beep, we're doing something bad, and just goes. And they don't even cut to the satellite exploding, right? It just goes and like cuts out.
It cuts out their
That's
signal.
awesome. Yeah. No, Laura Linney's a
Cheaper
boss.
that way.
What?
It's cheaper that way.
Yes, but I like it more because they just walk away and it's all like the good music starts playing, and instead of some crazy space stupid thing. She's a boss. That scene where Ernie Hudson and her are like shooting the flare guns out the window. I was like, oh, this is so good. I love this so much, and I don't think it's just nostalgia. I like her character.
No, a lot of it's fun.
I love how Dylan Walsh is like and she's like, out of my way, stupid, and like takes care of stuff.
Yeah.
It's people say movies were not woke back in the day, but she's clearly the like dominant person who's like handling stuff, and he's like, there's something on my cock.
There's something on my, it's like a creature or growth. There's something on my, look.
Oh, that's a leech.
But take it off.
I'm not going to take it off. It's your leech. You take it off.
Right? It's this hilarious like he
when he
can't
hands
catch a break.
Ernie Hudson back, he's like.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Little subtle stuff. Like
I don't have too many like issues that are not like, I don't know how that fake science would work kind of issues. There's one part where they're parachuting out of this plane that like the pilots have already left. Well, I don't know what you plan to do. You don't know how to fly a plane.
Yes.
And Ernie Hudson's is gonna just palm a gorilla and jump out of this thing. When he puts the suit on, or he puts the jacket on, the parachute on. He did not load his legs in first. He just clicks the thing, and you see the straps just dangling. But then in the next scene, when he jumps out, he has them on.
Yeah,
so that's the only, I think, like shot thing that I was like, oh, that's like what? Because I was all ready for, because you watch him click it on. I'm like, he didn't lock his feet in. I'm like,
This isn't gonna work.
Oh, yes, it is. I'll take Amy.
that would shoot right off.
Yeah, these are like real parachutes. They step into them.
Yes.
They're doing the whole thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is a good part of the journey, right? We get Joey Pants at the airport being like, this is much easier than going through customs, isn't it? Like stamping their things and
his
everything.
character's a little weird though, because like he doesn't have much dialogue. Yeah. But that he has is like, are you our tour guide? Oh no, I don't leave the airport.
So, you our guide?
No way, I stay at the airport.
And then we see him again, not at the airport because he had to leave.
I was gonna say he had to though, because they
made him into a liar.
they arrive like in country, and there's just been a horrible like assassination attempt.
Well, an assassination.
Yeah,
he dies.
Yeah. I thought they blew. They say they blew up his car. I'm not sure if they mean.
I assumed he was in there.
I thought they say something like, no, the problem is they didn't kill him.
Where's the president's car? Did they get him?
That's the bad news. No, they didn't.
maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
Now he's coming back. But that's how these things go. And like it totally derails the whole plan.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great stuff where like they're like guides just have to like BS their way through stuff. And then like it doesn't work and they get like arrested. They have to do the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
I like
Fortunately, Ernie Hudson's like a boss and knows people.
Yeah.
I love that like more. Like it just has stacks of cash.
That's what I thought that you'd have a problem with, because like they've been captured, so anything that you have is just automatically theirs. Why are they bargaining with it? But
he seems to be a real civil, awesome guy, and he has some clout. Ernie knows him, so like they have a bit of a rapport. Like
you have a big mouth.
Everybody says that about me. What can I do? Monroe, you have the worst timing in the world.
Tell me about it.
The people that were not the socialites of the group are like in detainment jail.
So this one's decided to speak.
This is pure Kafka.
Who's Kafka? Tell me!
And where's the gorilla? No one knows.
Yes, that's what I was gonna tell you. Is like, yes, but this is different because it's whatever. And he knows Tim Curry, he knows Ernie Hudson. It's a thing, whatever. And they're trading barbs back and forth. You're in better hands than you should be. All those things, and you're like, this is great.
Relax. You're in better hands than you should be.
But her being the CIA thing with like how much material is dropped from that plane that then gets used later that they must be carrying for so long.
Fabulous equipment. Best of the best.
It's like, what? There were sentry guns? And air conditioning units?
Air conditioners.
Well, I suppose it is a bit much.
Shit, I'll take one.
Listen, fucking lasers?
The like perimeter lasers and the automatic sentries. I remember as a kid being so into this because that's not like they do some pretty good. I saw in the credits, ILM worked on this and stuff. Yeah.
Everyone. They
did, but still, I'm like, okay, that's a real company. And there are some quick shots of like, it's like a screen with a circle and little triangles moving, and you're like, okay, cool.
Monroe?
Just enough to like get you the thing, but then like that next level of like automatic sentries doing this and shooting the like gorillas and the lasers and the pieces of the jungle falling out and all that. I remember as a kid just being like, this is crazy, and they don't dwell on that. They're not like explaining those are sentries and they do this. It's just happening and they're just shooting and fighting.
I think they even call them pistols on tripods, and I'm like, those aren't pistols. What do you mean?
Those are like machine guns. Yeah.
We have sensor-operated machine pistols on tripods out there. Anything comes within 40 feet, get ready for the 4th of July.
What can I say? You really know how to pack.
The thing that's weird though is that they're like they do the thing that we hate so much. It's like they're smart. These gorillas are smart, and like I'm like, yeah, gorillas are smart. So I'm like, okay,
true.
But there's like, they're testing their perimeters, and I'm like, what testing? When you move and a gun shoots you, the test is over.
The test is failed. Yeah.
Like and they should all test that, and they all would die, and then you win.
Well, the idea is that one of them gets killed, and then all the rest go, okay, we can't go there. And they keep trying to find places.
But that gun is firing constantly, and no gorilla is faster than a fucking gun that's aimed by a fucking machine. That laser thing, though, when you first see it, you're like, oh, it's laser lights. It like, because it crosses up in the air. So you're like, so if they jump, they'll know they crossed it. And then one gets like cut in half, and you're like, oh, those are lasers.
This was the 90s when lasers
What is containing the end of the laser? Like, it just goes as far as it can go?
Dixie cup turned around, just goes into it.
Yeah, tiny magnet. What?
Good girl. Here's an egg. Amy, we do not throw things.
Something that felt like an error, but I don't have enough knowledge on the subject, and Google will not, like, it's hard to get 1995's information here, was like, Curry doesn't have enough money to pay for their fuel. He's like, well, how much is it? I'll pay it myself. $56,000. $56,000?
$56,000.
$56,000. What are you smiling about?
You need me, Dr. Elliot.
And I was like, that doesn't seem right.
That seems low?
Well, I couldn't decide if it seems shockingly low or shockingly high. Because I'm like, well, you're flying a huge plane. I'm like, $56,000. I'm like, even if every seat was full, how much must every seat be to cover just the fuel, let alone the maintenance and the workers and stuff? And then I Googled, like, how much does it cost to fill a plane? And like the biggest plane that I could get the information for was like $15,000. Okay. And I was like, okay. Now, granted, fuel has gone through some dips, and right now we're not using fuel as much as we would, so I'm not sure if the price is dramatically dropped, but it's also airplane fuel, where I'm like, I think they make a finite amount. It's not like we keep pumping it out because it's purchased, I'm sure, by like the metric ton.
Is this in America still, or is this in the other place now?
That would have been in America still, because they were flying to
No, I
Africa.
know, but I feel like that was the quick flight. I'm not sure anymore.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure it's an error, but it struck me as a weird number.
I was going to argue that like things are worth whatever people are willing to pay for them, and
for
perhaps there's some whatever, or it's just we need this much money, and it's for the trip, and and to cover the trip back, and for insurance or some bullshit, whatever.
And Tim Curry being Tim Curry, it might have cost $15,000. You give him $56,000. He puts half that in his pocket, gives this to that guy to let you say this, and so on and so forth.
Yes, exactly.
Because he perks up at like, you could sell the gorilla for $25,000.
25 grand for female.
Amy, want to go home.
Like what?
Oh, a talking gorilla.
How rich were you ever, if that's like a large sum of money to you?
That's what I'm saying. Is like sometimes the numbers are just for the audience to think like, well, that's too much money for anyone to just have.
Whoa, a talking gorilla. I feel the money hairs on the back of my neck going whoa, whoa, whoa.
Even this poor scientist's life savings couldn't cover that, right? And then,
and Joey Pants
like,
to go 25 grand, a lot of money. I'm like, okay, this is a guy that's like stamps passports. I'm like all money is a lot of money.
He's hustling. He's like working for like a few weeks to get like $4
grand. Oh, it's a talking gorilla. Oh.
Now we're talking. Yes. He's a great. It's like almost a cameo. He doesn't do anything. He's just there, and he's
Well, how famous was he in '95?
I don't know.
And they're eating people. You go in there with Robertson Reynolds, and you're coming out somebody's bowel movements. There you go. Now, wasn't that easier than going through customs?
I think this was a normal part for him in '95.
No, it was. It is just a part, but like his character doesn't do much.
Oh no, nothing. Yeah. But he's enjoyable. I like him. I got hit with some. What did he say? Like a can of peanut oil or something.
Eddie, what happened to your head?
Oh, customs guy hit me with a can of peanut oil.
Yeah, Joey Pants has the best line where it's like, fine, be an asshole or something.
Right? And then like, do you do this? I do that, but I don't fix assholes or stop being assholes or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. Be an asshole.
Who's this guy?
Eddie Ventro, transportation and equipment. But I don't supply assholes with new personalities.
Yeah. I don't know if you mentioned Bruce Campbell's in this. He's the reason.
I knew we'd get there eventually.
He's the reason that, like, our telecommunication person thinks she's going to Africa.
Tell me you love your son.
I do.
And that's why you're sending me.
It is.
All right. But if I have one moment when I think otherwise, I will make you sorry.
But, Bruce is dead, sad. But it's still a great role for Bruce. He's not in it very much.
Yeah.
It's like, you're throwing things at me now?
But now you're throwing stuff at me?
No,
it's an eyeball.
Yeah, he's the intro man. He's the guy. I think when I saw this, I didn't really care about Bruce Campbell yet for whatever reason, just personal, my timeline. So looking back, it's always like, oh shit, he's in this too. Yeah. And it's an awesome because he gets to go on like the satellite phone and be like, I get a lot of this, and like the laser happens, and then I remember him, lifting his hand up, seeing that it's an eyeball, turning his head, the look of terror on his face.
That like he was like the like face.
Yeah,
he has a great face for that. Yeah,
exactly.
He's great in everything.
And then he shows up later as a corpse.
Yeah.
R.I.p.
It's not really him though. I think it's just a
fake corpse,
dummy.
Yeah. But
would have liked one more cameo.
Just a little more. There's a cool part in the middle there where you think you might be about to see Bruce Campbell.
It's not him.
It's not who?
It's Bob Driscoll. Jesus, what happened to him? Bob.
And it's somebody else. And this I remember too, because I've always remembered this line. I will never forget this. I'll be in the nursing home. They have many levels of dead. You're not dead until you're all dead.
The Mizumo have several levels of dead. Someone's not dead until they're completely dead.
And I was like, oh, that's great. And then they're like trying to like pray. There's like a shaman trying to like get this white man back to life or whatever. And yeah, it's a great,
it's a weird scene that leads into that though, because like they like kind of like in like the foreground where you can see them, but like don't act like you can see them because there's probably 20 more of them. Blah,
the
blah,
Ghost
blah,
Tribe.
Monroe?
Don't indicate you see them. Resume. The Ghost Tribe.
But I wonder how much interaction have they had with people because they're this deep woods tribe.
Yeah.
And they are racist though. Yeah. Where when he says like I'm in charge, they laugh, and I'm like they have enough interaction with white people to think that they would be the one in charge of this group.
Why are they laughing?
They asked who was in charge. I said I was.
What's so funny about that?
I'm black. I should have luggage on my head.
Yep. When they're in an area where there's only African people.
They're also called the Ghost Tribe, and they like put white chalk stuff on them. So I'm like, are they like self-hating African people? Like, what am I meant to take this? This is a perspective I would not have brought to it at the age of whatever I was, 11 or something, whenever I would have watched this. But yes, looking back now, it's like, yes, because that's the joke. You know, he's like, why are they laughing? It's like, I told them I was in charge. And they think because I'm black, I should just be carrying the luggage or whatever, right? It's like, oh, shit. Yes. But yes, there's a whole scene, there's a whole weird thing going on there.
Yeah, and earlier...
But they know him, so it's like, there's no,
Earlier, Ernie Hudson says, like, I'm your great white hunter that happens to be black.
Monroe Kelly, I'm your great white hunter for this trip, though I happen to be black.
Like, there's a couple of times where, like, they reference, direct
That's
racial
lampshading, though. That's
of course
fun.
it is. It's just, it's something that I, seen this a million times and, like, didn't necessarily pick up on a lot of these things the first times I watched it.
When you're an old man and you watch a movie you've seen a million times, as a kid, you notice other things that as a kid was just like nothing.
As a kid, the scene where they're crossing the river and the hippos attack.
Oh my God.
Scared the shit out of me.
That's awesome.
Dolby Digital Surround, my friend. I was terrified. And that scene would come up. And after like the third time I watched it, you know it's fucking about to come. And I would always like lower the volume because it was so loud.
It is very loud. It like peaked my. I have a weird setup where if it's too loud, the volume like cuts out a little. So it did that to me. So that's how I know how loud it was. But I didn't get to hear it. No, that's a great scene. So like when you look at this
Looks
movie,
good too.
When you look at at this movie, it's almost 2 hours long. So you're like, what can we cut? And naturally, you would think this, hippo attack that has nothing leading into it or coming out of it. There's no reason for this to be in the movie.
A nameless faceless guy gets injured, and you don't even see it.
Right? Should be what you want to cut. But I agree. This stood out to me as a kid too, and like this is why I've been saying my whole life to try to seem smart. Oh no, hippos are actually terrifying. They kill more people than whatever in wherever. Right?
Than crocodiles.
Yeah, because like they are a terrifying creature.
They are, and they're like bulletproof. They're gigantic.
And it's a great little thing to happen because like they're on this journey, but it would suck if it was just smooth and effortless and we get there and nothing happens. This like trashes some of their stuff and kills the guy or whatever. Yeah, awesome.
Through all the things that happened, it's amazing they didn't lose vital amounts of gear.
Yeah.
Because like even just dropping all your stuff out of the parachutes, like they're just to the wind, and that's by design. That like when you do these mass drops, nobody has the little things to drive themselves because you want everyone to land relatively together.
Yeah.
But that could also land you like in hell and hot water. Or like you just lose your shit. Very weird. And then that whole, they hammer home, they're like, everything except for the balloon.
You really need a balloon?
No, I don't. Let me see that.
No balloon though, didn't get the balloon.
Equipment list. You got everything. But the balloon and the home entertainment center. Oh, your boss says call me.
Okay.
And then later on, look in there, should be a black and white blah blah with a balloon in it.
There should be a big yellow case with a red stripe on that plane. Break it out. It's a balloon. I'll get the transmitter.
Do you need all this? We don't, but hey, whatever. I guess we're gonna include it.
Everything exploded in there completely, but the balloon's probably intact.
We got the balloon. Oh, the balloon. We did it. When they throw that diamond away, at the end, I thought to myself, not the word ouch, but like, ugh. And then Ernie Hudson goes, ouch, or something like that.
Throw this away from me.
You sure?
Ouch.
Just chucks it. You sure? All right. And they throw this giant diamond away.
And he throws it. It's not even like, let me get like, and again, you could just have dropped it. You're in a balloon.
Yes.
It's going far away regardless. But he's just like,
tosses it away.
Like you're tossing a stone into the lake.
Yeah.
Because your dad made you.
Yes, he was.
It was very weird. You'd think Ernie would have been like, I'll take that. That could be mine.
I could have used that for my payment.
I do think it's almost admirable that no one tried to grab any diamonds aside from Tim Curry.
You've got to get me out of here.
Take a number.
But we're going to be rich!
Because I gotta say, I'd probably crouch down with my gun poised and grab one or two of those suckers, because they weren't even like you had to mine them. They're just like laying on the ground.
Help me. Fill up everything.
I love that actually, yeah, because that I remember too was like once they get to like the final chamber, the diamonds are just hanging out.
Yeah.
Which might imply that like
the gorillas mine them?
No, like those are diamonds that they mine, but everything went to shit so quickly that like they're just mixed in with life now or something. I don't know.
I always wondered, like, those little caves that the monkeys have, they're like right in the mine.
Yeah.
And it's like the thing written a million times is like, we're watching you, or you're being watched, or something like that.
Yeah.
What do they say?
We are watching you.
Which is very crazy that he even was able to translate, because
I have a book that told me what this
well, I
says.
think one of the keys to translating something is you have to, like, you go through all the words, look for repeating things. You're like, okay, those are probably consonants or vowels, this and that,
yeah,
whatever.
He
but
had a book though or something, right? So he like knew that language, I think.
Did he have a book?
I thought so.
Maybe I just blacked that out.
And those hieroglyphics we saw inscribed everywhere, I have translated them.
In my head, I was just like, translating a single repeating phrase would be probably the hardest thing to translate.
No, and he wasn't doing, because you're talking about like frequency and I like linguistics. You're talking about like frequency analysis and working backwards or whatever. But I hope it was not meant to be like an unknown language. I think it was meant to be like something that they would know or something. But this gets into the lore. Okay.
Yeah, the lore is very cool.
So like number one, I hate those monkey holes. Those are goofy.
Well, I was wondering, like that. What I went on a tangent is were those holes dug for them? The I'm watching you. Is that the monkeys are watching the miners? Like, better not stealing shit. The monkeys are gonna fuck you up. Or did the monkeys like make holes in the mining area?
I have to believe that those are the mining holes that the monkeys now live in or something. But just just them coming out of all their little holes.
They're so dumb. For something that's so smart, because by the end they're either pushing themselves into the thing or literally jumping into lava.
Right. So those are my two like bookends. Is like I hate the monkey holes, and then like after the climax, the monkeys are just like I'm just dying, just diving into lava constantly. It's like okay, that's
like she did a fair amount of damage with her laser gun, because she can literally just like turn it and it kills 7 in one shot.
Put him on the endangered species list.
Put him on the endangered species list.
Yeah.
And goes through. Oh, so good. She's a boss.
It's not too dissimilar to like a proton pack.
Yeah. No, it's great. But the lore. So as a kid, lore always used to drive me crazy, like in a good way. I love that. In Predator 2, when you see the xenomorph skull, that for like 6 months to a year kept me like super happy as a kid. Like I love that stuff so much. So here too, we get the whole thing, the phrase that repeats. At one point, Dylan Walsh says, oh, it's not the guards, it's the masters. They train them like this. They did that. They find like pictograms of like the monkeys becoming the guards, and it looks like Stargate stuff.
Yeah. They bred them to violence. They looked for the trait and they encouraged it.
Guard dogs, and they turned on their masters.
Yeah, no, it's
like,
very cool.
This is so good. Fuck, yeah.
Just the idea of like, oh, selective breeding, they went for the aggression and this and that, and I'm like, okay. Why did it make them gray? I don't know. Rage makes you gray.
Genetic defect.
And like they're ugly too. They're not just gray.
Oh, they're like messed up, I think, from like fighting.
I was gonna say,
I don't know.
A lot of that can be taken as like, oh, it's fighting and stuff, but like it also just looks like they're different.
Maybe they are like inbred mutant monkeys. Maybe
that's also
part
true.
Of the
like
thing.
no one else could deal with them, and they do kill because they find the bones of other gorillas. Amy seems to be the fastest fucking gorilla in the world because they're like up by the volcano, and like Amy, where did Amy go? I don't know. And she's like with the other gorillas. And she's like, gotta go, hang on, and like catches up to them, and I'm like, that's so far.
Yes, she catches up to them, and then like, and I'm glad Ernie Hudson says they don't know what to make of it.
Ugly gorillas, ugly, go away.
They don't know what to make of it.
Because otherwise, I'd be like, we know they kill gorillas, Amy's just like making weird robot voice noises. People talk. That doesn't stop them from killing them.
No.
So why does the combination make them
maybe
stop?
seeing a gorilla talk.
They don't know what to make of it.
It would weird a human out. So
that's the answer. They don't know what to make of it. That's fine. But still, I was like, yes, we literally, Dylan Walsh picks up. This is a gorilla skull. It was smashed.
These are all the bones of gorillas.
You mean these are?
No, these are the bones of normal gorillas. This one's skull was crushed.
Yeah.
Damn. And then you see them literally just pancaking people's heads.
Oh yeah.
Them,
well,
right?
Tim Curry gets beaten. Adebisi gets just ripped apart by all these little hands. Oh,
they
bastards.
converge on him. You see Ernie Hudson looking at him damn. Like you think he's looking for the mercy shot at one point, and then just kind of goes uh-oh.
There's your sorry, bro.
Nothing's happening here, champ.
Yeah, Ernie gets one little claw across his face, but other than that, he's pretty much fine.
The three of them make it out. It's good.
Yeah,
it's a good core thing. We haven't mentioned Dylan Walsh too much. Mm-hmm. He is. I forget if he's Nip or Tuck, but he's on the show.
Yes, he's on Nip Tuck.
And some other. He's been in a few things. He's very generic. I get him confused with other actors of that whole thing, but
I much prefer his partner in this that dies.
The sidekick.
Yes, the sidekick. He was
great.
True Lies and stuff.
I'm getting out of here.
I like him.
He plays this role a lot, I think, right? Where he's kind of
usually just the sidekick dude.
But he's neurotic and not antisocial, awkward. He's awkward. Where
he's really good in this.
Oh, so what's your that's a weird name for somebody from there. He's what do you know about it? Yeah, he's the guy just so pissed off at him. He's I'm ready to go home. Fuck, I'm done.
Have you ever been to Mombasa?
No.
Then what do you know about it?
Yeah, it's had a great vibe.
Bruce Campbell at one point, they swim, him and his partner, under this thing, and I was in the jungle, it's a really weird thing just to be doing. When the first guy was let me see what's under there, and just swam in there, and it was a wall. Wouldn't that be your first tip? Why is there a wall here? What's this wall we're swimming under? Doesn't this prove there's something here?
Yes.
But what the strange part to me is that when he gets underneath, the guy's let me just get my bag, and he pulls a chocolate bar of his fanny pack. This was a completely submerged chocolate bar in parasite water a second ago, and you're eyeballs. Oh yeah, so I mentioned Adebisi. I always forget his name, but the guy from Oz is in this, and then the werewolf guy from Rise of the Lycans and all that stuff. He's in
Underworld?
this as well. Yeah, Underworld.
I thought I saw him, and I'm Lee, you're being racist. He just looks like him.
No,
That's
he's like a guard or whatever you want to call him.
Yes. Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does he even talk? Because he got that
distinctive voice. He's the main guard in that facility area. He talks minimally.
Oh, where they stop them and stuff. Yeah, when they're holding them. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I saw him and I was oh, he almost looks like the guy from Underworld. That's dope.
Yeah, he's young.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's him.
And then we'll go. Vale. Go.
You all right?
Yeah.
Admit it. You're glad to see me.
He packed on probably another 40 pounds of muscle before Underworld. I want to say the temple does look really cool. Yeah. And when you see it collapsing and stuff, I'm this is done really well. I'm I don't know how certain parts of this were done in '95. I imagine miniatures and stuff, but it looks very cool, very well done. I think a high point for me. I love that kind of shit, the jungle takes it back kind of shit.
Oh
awesome.
Yeah, no, with the geo thermal activity, the lava tubes and all the business. Yeah, no, yeah, the jungle taking it back. I agree. The craft, at work here because it's an hour 48, I think.
Oh yeah,
hour and 3/4 of a movie. So many locations and sets and things breaking and people doing stuff, guns and animals and fighting and all these things.
A lot of stuff.
It's kind of an epic tale here,
And I'm not sure if there are ever any actual gorillas in the movie. There's a couple of shots where it cuts to Amy and the facial expression looks almost too good. Or I'm but if Amy's in it for let's say half an hour, it's 40 seconds where I'm that might have been a real gorilla.
Okay, no, yeah, because the other gorillas that they meet, I'm
all people in suits.
This is just a weird fake because they look weird. I'm you look like a mogwai in your face. You look awful. What is happening here?
Just in the face though.
None of that bothers me. That's fine. Oh, no. But that's the scene when Dylan Walsh is he says okay, don't run. They'll chase you, whatever.
Don't move.
I know.
If you run,
he'll chase me. I know. I've read the books.
and how long it is to then cut back to like the reveal. Ernie Hudson is like 20 feet away, like, I ran away.
You did good.
Where'd you go?
I ran away.
Like, oh shit. Good job though, right? When like the silverback, yeah, I feel like that might have been in the trailer or something. I remember that scene or it just stuck out to me or something. That's a good one.
Two young scientists into the heart of the African jungle, where a secret hidden for 2,000 years.
I think my favorite person in the movie is Tim Curry, which says a lot because Bruce Campbell's usually my boy. But just between the sesame cake.
Stop eating my sesame cake. Stop eating my sesame cake!
And push me harder.
Push me, please. Harder, please.
Like, he just has such a wonderful line.
We should pause on that because that's genius. When he's like, you have to push me, and the guy tries to push him and goes, and like he holds on. He's like, harder, makes him push him out of the plane.
Because every instinct you have is to not want to go out of the plane.
Yes.
Like,
but he's literally like, he like grabs it and makes like a noise or something, grunts. It's great.
Skydiving is a horrible nightmare that I recommend.
I would never do it. There are certain things that everyone's like, oh, Lee, like you should just do that. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't want to. Super easy.
I did it and they're like, wasn't the best? I'm like, sucked. And they laugh like I'm joking. I'm like, would never do that again. It's horrible.
It was horrible. Can you imagine jumping out of a plane? It's like that.
Yeah. I was the last one on the plane, which means you're the first one to jump too. So for most of the plane ride, my feet were dangling out of the plane. I wasn't even in the fucking plane. Yeah.
Do you sit in like a weird basket?
You sit. You're just sitting with my legs are off the plane, and you have a guy that's strapped to you, and he's sitting on the plane mostly, and like him holding his weight is like keeping me in the plane. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever done. It was horrible.
Perfect.
This movie's great.
So do you speak English?
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to fly. I would not like to jump and fall.
Yeah.
Sometimes on like a really windy day, especially like a cold day when it's like hitting you, I feel like I can't like breathe fully and catch my breath.
My girlfriend had on her way down. It was hard to breathe.
Oh my god.
I didn't have any difficulty breathing, but I just had my mouth open as wide as possible, so my cheeks were going like that.
I don't have any difficulty breathing in general, but yes, on like a really cold winter.
Like the wind passing by your face.
It like feels like I'm not. It feels like I'm competing with the wind for my breath.
That's exactly what she said.
Yes, and so in my head I was just like, well, I imagine if you're falling out of a plane, that's just wind the whole way, and that would be bad. And I would not like to find out about that when it's like, well, you're stuck with this now. You're just gonna pass out, falling to your death, maybe out of a plane. Like, what's going on?
We'll see.
Fingers crossed. We'll see.
Something, my last thing I want to touch on is like her fingers are almost never moving, Amy, which is a big key part to sign language. She's really just doing this a lot. Things like that. Like, sign language requires a lot of finger dexterity and doing things, and she does not do those things. I'm wondering if this invention actually does exist, though, if there is a thing like that, because it cuts to it's probably faked footage of a deaf man, or I'm sorry, a man born without the vocal cord who's hearing his voice for the first time.
A guy who signs,
and he has a great look on his face, Russell. I was like, if you were to tell me that is actual footage from a thing, like the guy's reaction, I think I would believe it.
Yeah.
And it looks like they dumbed down the quality enough that it looks like a scientific thing. But I wonder if they've made things like that, because especially now technology is getting so small that I feel like people could do that, because we can make deaf people hear now.
Yeah, you could just wear like a power glove, I feel like, and it could probably like broadcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, that should be easy. I don't think they would have had him do it for the first time on stage. I feel like I have to test these things and calibrate them or something, so I'm pretty sure that would have been fake.
I would guess.
But I'm just being a party pooper. Here's my ultimate poop, though, is that the whole apes doing, learning language is fake.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay, I was going to say.
It's hard to get grants for what I do. Most people just don't really believe it. They think it's a parlor trick, a gag.
You might be like, no, it's not, and I'm like, no, everyone thinks that it's real, but this like in this movie, Dylan Walsh gets up there and says, everyone says that it's a parlor trick and it's not real and it's bad, but what if there was a little speaker involved? Oh shit! It blows all their minds.
Yeah.
But it like kind of was a parlor trick.
Well, I wonder when Michael Crichton wrote this, because this came out in '95, but I don't know how fast from book to to movie this was.
Right.
And this man, honestly, one of the best writers. Like everything he does is a banger.
Right? Like you just look at like the list of
Yeah,
things that are made
like
into
all
movies,
these huge ones are him.
Yeah. Well, and like it's science fiction, so like that's what you do is you say, well, what if they, what if you could do sign language, right? But I feel like this in the 90s, and you haven't heard a lot since then, really, because it's not a thing. Because if they could really learn real language, we could use them as interpreters for like other animals, for like monkeys.
Yeah.
Because presumably they can communicate then, so we'd have to have like treaties with them or something. Like this would be a huge the whole human race.
I'm going to argue that that's why you haven't heard of it.
That's why
it actually
they covered it
is
up.
real. We smokescreen, gaslight them, make them think it's not real. Because honestly, though, let's say it was real and you actually could communicate and you actually could talk to people. Do you think that they would be like, oh no, yeah, we can just take these trees, this forest, this is ours. Like they're like, this is our land. This is ours. Oh yeah.
This
No,
is
part of
our
the trick.
land.
Shoot them.
Please don't do this to us. You hurt us, kill us. Yeah.
Can you imagine?
It would be
It'd be
amazing.
horrible.
That would like this is the good plot for a movie. I
Yeah,
feel
it is actually.
This is something that we can work with. So cut this part out. Don't tell the people about this at all.
I'll leave it in for you.
My last thing was going to be that this is like it's like $50 million. We both enjoyed it.
Oh, very much.
I don't think anyone's ever told me that like they didn't enjoy it. Rotten Tomatoes has this mid-20s critics and audience.
Yeah, it's very surprising.
What the fuck?
And like it's a bit campy, I guess, but it's
like,
certainly also amazing.
Well, and like a little long and whatever, maybe whoever.
I don't even feel it doesn't. Some movies are like an hour and 10 minutes and feel long.
I think it's
well paced. Feels long,
but I could see like a modern audience thinking it's maybe dry and like too long, but I think it's well paced, well done, everything in it's good. And these actors that we're talking about, these are not like if like Bruce Campbell was the main character, I'd be like, well, we just like Bruce Campbell. You just like Bruce Campbell. You're an idiot. Whatever. Casper Van Dien's in it. Yeah, you like it. No, these are like famous people who've been in like other things that audiences should have known and like responded to. I am super confused as to why this is so low.
I wonder if we just hit it in the pocket where like maybe people just don't know about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and the only people rating it are like, fuck this movie. I got tricked into watching a gorilla movie, but it's really just this adventure, like whatever. Yeah.
I wonder. Because like I said, I saw this like 7 times a day for like a week.
I
enjoyed it every single time.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I'm like, well, I understand not loving it or not ranking it highly like personally, but I'm sure everyone's like okay with it. They're like, yeah, it's good, it's fine. Like that's like the worst that I would think. So I am blown away. Internet, you're fucking up. You gotta fix this. Rate this 10 out of 10.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.